What's up, guys? Today we're gonna deviate from the usual format of a brief story of something. Today we're gonna do the film camera equivalent of a Pokemon card pack opening. But first, let me tell you how we got here and what could possibly be inside of this box. So, a couple of weeks ago, I was doing my average browsing on Vinted when I came across this ad right here for an appareil photo ancien, which translates to old camera in French. And the thumbnail for this ad, so the photo that appeared on the search results, was this one. And as you can see, you can't really see much other than the back of the case. But then, as you begin checking out the other pictures, you get some more clues as to what's going on here. You can see that this is a Zeiss Icon case. You can see that this is an Iconta model, which is a series of medium format folding cameras produced by Zeiss Icon. And one thing that really caught my attention and got me intrigued in the first place was the existence of these two windows. So this indicates me that this camera has a rangefinder system. Now, I know a thing or two about this line, so I already knew that this was a medium format folding camera, just like the one I have, this one being made by Voigtlander. And I can already tell from the shape of the door at the front that this camera most likely produces 6x9 negatives. So I knew all the basics about this camera. You can see that little dial right here that kind of confirms me that we have a rangefinder system in place, but there's not really any pictures with the lens door open, so I can't see what the configuration of the lens and the shutter is on this camera. And that's what we're gonna find out today. At first, I didn't even know what camera specifically this one was, because there's a lot of models in the Zeiss Icon Iconta series, but as I expand the description, we get an important clue. Number 1236/2, but I already knew that this wasn't the name of this model specifically, because Zeiss Icon usually name their models with 3 numbers, a slash, and then 1 or 2 more numbers. So, for example, the Zeiss Icon Iconta 123/4 or Zeiss Icon Iconta 123/45. So what I did was I opened a new tab and I searched Zeiss Iconta and the number that was in the description, and I found this thread on this forum called Photrio of someone with a similar case as the one in the advertisement. So this user, Binglebug Bob, is putting this case up for sale, and he says that it's for a Zeiss Iconta 532/6, so let's go and look that up. And as you can see, this is clearly not the same camera that I bought, because it has this little square viewfinder, I think, right here. And it seems to be a 6x6 camera because of the square lens door. So no luck with the Zeiss Iconta 532/6. But looking a bit down on the thread, Binglebug Bob says that he did a little more research and he found out that this was a case for the Iconta 2 and the Iconta 3. And he actually provided a PDF of a brochure by Zeiss Icon back in the day talking about these models in specific. So I look at this and I say, well, these cameras look a bit more similar to the one I bought, but they don't have a rangefinder. Well, the Iconta 2 doesn't have a rangefinder, but the Iconta 3 does. And as you can see, this is the exact same model that the ad was showing. Comparing the top plate, you can see that this is the rangefinder adjusting knob. You get these 2 little buttons right here, the cold shoe on top, the 2 rangefinder windows, and they're all right here. The knob, the 2 buttons, the cold shoe, the other knob. So now I've actually managed to pinpoint the exact model that I've bought. But when you go to search for Zeiss Iconta 3, you don't really get many results. You get more results for the Super Iconta 3, which is not the same model as this one. And this was when I found out that this camera was being sold under a variety of different names, such as Iconta M, Iconta 3, and MES Iconta 524/2. So this was when I decided to check out eBay and found out that this is actually a sought-out camera. And, well, I figured I'm just gonna buy it, I'm gonna use it. If I don't like it, I can just resell it at a profit because, well, I paid 25 euros for it. Going back to the brochure, you can actually tell that there are different submodels of the Zeiss Icon 3 6x9. Those being these ones with different lenses and shutter configurations. This must have been a common practice in German factories because the same thing happened with the Retinas, if you remember that video. So as you can see here, there are 3 different lenses that can go on this camera. The Novar f4.5, the Novar 3.5, and the highly sought out and valuable Tessar 3.5. The Novar lenses are equipped with a Prontar SV shutter that goes up to 1/250th of a second, while the Tessar is equipped with a Synchro Composer shutter that goes up to 1/500th of a second. And let me tell you right off the bat, I'm gonna be content with whatever's in that box, regardless of the configuration. But I would be a whole lot happier if I got the Tessar 3.5 configuration. So without further ado, join me as we unravel the mystery of what the hell is in this box. And I never thought I'd be doing a pack opening on a video, but well, here we are. I'm just gonna friggin' demolish this entire box, I think. Like, I can't contain my enthusiasm right now, so yeah. This is what was inside. So let's take this little pillow apart and let's finally see what we've got. Of course, ooh, this is way bigger than I thought. The photos didn't make it seem this big. So without further ado, I'm gonna press this button and let's find out what configuration I have. You guys are gonna see it first. I'm not gonna look. What is it? What is it, chat? Let's see. Oh, it's big. It's big. The Tessar is really big. The Tessar 3.5. It's the Novar 3.5. Okay. We take it. We take those. This is a beautiful camera. Let me take it out of the case so I can see it in its full glory. There we go. Actually, the case is in really good condition. I think it's in even better condition than the one that the guy was selling. This is in really good condition. This is in even better condition than my current Voigtlander that has all of these chips in the paint and stuff. The lens was actually a bit hazy when I got it. I had to clean it up. This lens looks really clean, actually. Like, there's some superficial dust and fingerprints on the front, but no haze, no fungus that I can tell. Now, for the important part, let's see if the shutter works or if it needs to be serviced before I actually get to use it. So there's this lever right here. I think this is the shutter cocking lever. Let's set it to 250. Let's start on the highest speed. Shutter is cocked. This is the shutter release button here on my left and your right. Okay, I think it's firing. Let's try the slower speeds. The slower speeds are usually the ones with defects on cameras that haven't been used for a long time. So let's try 1 second now. Oh, this is actually not going to fire because from what I've seen, yeah, this camera has a double exposure prevention mechanism, which is unusual for medium format cameras, even more so for folding cameras. So you actually have to pretend you're winding the film a little bit. You're gonna feel a little bit of resistance when you're ready to shoot. So here we go, 1 second. Okay, maybe it's taking a little longer than 1 second, but that seems pretty reasonable considering this is a camera from the 50s. So the shutter is in really good condition. Now let's flip it over. Let's take a look at the back. You can see that this is the rangefinder window, and this is the viewfinder window. So you look through this window to focus your subject, and through this one to compose the image. Now let's pop the back door open, and let's take a look at that. So there we go. Everything seems in place here. Let's see if the apertures are working. This is actually the aperture system on these cameras is actually quite reliable, since, well, it's simply some blades right here at the back that will open and close, and I'm gonna do it and hopefully you'll be able to see it. So now they're fully open, and now, yeah, you can see they're closing. Yeah, that seems fine as well to me. Next, I will have to inspect the bellows, so I will have to take this camera to a dark room and open the back door and point my phone's flashlight at the bellows from all sides and look through the back to see if there are any light leaks at all. But of course, I won't be able to record that process. One thing I've heard is that the way you close the lens door is a little tricky on this camera because, for example, with my current Voigtlander, the only thing you have to do is push this little tab down and close the door and it will close. But that's not the same for the Zeiss Icon. You actually have to press these little tabs, I don't know what to call them, inward, and then, yeah, it's kind of awkward compared to the system on the Voigtlander, which is way simpler, but, well, I can get used to this. Overall, I think this is an upgrade to my current Voigtlander. Well, I'm actually losing in terms of speed because this one goes up to 1/400th of a second, and this only goes up to 1/250th of a second. But this one actually has an extra f-stop when it comes to the aperture. This one is a 3.5 and this is a 3.5. Also, this lens is coated while this one is not. So this one is really prone to glaring. And of course I could use a lens hood or something like that, but it's incredibly challenging to find one for these cameras. See, for example, I know that this is a 40mm filter ring, and I actually have a 40mm filter right here that I'm using on another camera, but I can't screw it because there's no place for me to screw this on at all. I actually think that there's a thing called, it's not an adapter, it's a filter holder. It's like this little piece that you push onto these unthreaded lenses that can actually take a threaded filter on the other end. So I'll have to look into it, maybe, and if such a thing does exist, I'll probably get one of those. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of disheartened by the fact that I didn't get the Tessar, but that would have been an incredibly lucky find. So this is it for today's video. Thank you so much for joining me on this little unboxing. Let me know if you thought this was a fun idea to do, and maybe I'll do more of these in the future when I'm not certain of which model I'm gonna get, just like in this case. Anyways, I'll see you guys on the next video. Have a good one.